Y'all make sure y'all go to subscribe to Thick Whips. If you ain't subscribed and you watching this, doing something wrong.
What is happening, guys? Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's gonna be a good one, covering rod bearings in the S65, and mine were bad. 92,000 miles on this 2008 M3, and yeah, let's just say it's definitely a good thing that we knocked those out right away before we started doing any crazy or spirited driving. What is up, guys? We're back at the shop, CES Motorsport, and today is the day to do some rod bearings on this S65. We don't really know what the condition of this engine is, or we don't know if these rod bearings have been done before, but we're gonna find out in this video, and it should be interesting. Okay, so what we are going with today, we have some liquid moly, 10W60. We have all of the parts necessary in order to make this rod bearing job happen. We have the ARP bolts from BE Bearings. We have the BE bearings, top and bottom. We have our oil pan gasket, all of the necessary nuts and bolts, filter. We're also doing motor mounts and trans mounts. This motor is currently sitting on the sway bar. That's how bad the motor mounts are. Always do your motor mounts, kids. So it'll be interesting to see what these bearings look like in this car. All this stuff is being sourced from ECS Tuning. They sent this out, so if you guys need it, I'll have it all linked down below, as well as the shop's information, CES Motorsport. Make sure you hit them up. Guys are always doing super stuff, BMW stuff. They got some old E36 stuff that they're doing, some turbo cars, lots of fabrication and development in here. Pretty cool stuff. We just noticed this vacuum line back here isn't even connected. So that's probably why I've been having some idling issues. So the oil pan is literally resting on the sway bar. Not good. It's not what you want to see. So we're just draining the oil right now. Then we're going to hoist the top of the engine up so we can drop subframe, and then take off the oil pan, start knocking out some bearings. That's where my sway bar was. It could have been bad, dude. It could have been really bad. So that's where the sway bar was, well, the oil pan was resting on the sway bar. And that is why you got to do your motor mounts. Yeah, those look pretty toast. Yeah. Pretty toast. Other ones in the same.
Yeah, and you can look how it's like separating up here.
Oh my God, yeah, dude. Once we, what's literally coming apart? Once we pull it out, you guys will see it, but these look really bad. Yeah, man, it was time. These are bad. Completely separated.
Oh my God. Look at that.
Woo! Oh my God. All the coating is gone.
Yeah, and you can see the layers.
That's 92,000 miles on stock bearings. Don't look great. found out that this car has a Dynon underdrive pulley. I had no idea. So this is actually the second time for me doing rod bearings on an S65. I did have a 2010 LCI Alpine White E90 M3 with about 75,000 miles on it. We did rod bearing service on that. However, those were not nearly as bad as these, and it was sort of to be expected because this is an older model, 2008 M3. It had 92,000 miles on the odometer, and this most definitely was a track car. I was actually pretty shocked that the rod bearings weren't already done, being that this car was driven the way it was driven. So that was a bit surprising to me, but even if someone had told me that the bearings had already been done in this car, I would have just done them anyways because it's not worth taking that risk. And now that the bearings are done, I just have that peace of mind and I can drive the car and enjoy it and not have to worry about it for at least another 60, 70, 80,000 miles. I think also it's really important to just take care of a lot of these maintenance items before you even start modifying the car, because once you start modifying the car, adding more power into it, all of those weak points are going to become more prevalent over time. And the last thing that I want to do is lose an S65 motor or have to rebuild an S65 motor, so I'm glad that we did it. So it was really cool to find out that this car actually has a Dynon underdrive pulley on it. I had no idea. That's like a $400 pulley. Seems to be a pretty popular S65 pulley for these cars. We're going to leave it on. However, we are going to go ahead and refresh, update, replace all of the OE pulleys, the accessory pulleys, and the belts as well. And at that same time, we'll go ahead and do the water pump also. We might even tackle the idle control valve. And then I'm also going to be taking care of the throttle actuators, which is another known weak point in the S65 engine. Furthermore, we're going to be doing a lot of extra stuff on this car, like a complete transmission refresh, new clutch. We're going to be doing some differential services on this car, maybe even some wheel hubs. We have some things with the car that we need to figure out yet. There are some flaws that we need to address. And the other big one that needs to happen is the suspension. So I do have KW V3s on the way, and we'll go ahead and take care of that. The suspension that is currently in this car is toast. We have H&R Super Sport springs on Bilstein shocks. These shocks are done. It's like riding on cinder blocks. It is not a pleasant feeling. As great as it is to address the rod bearings, what's even more satisfying for me is the motor mounts. The motor mounts were so bad in this car. You guys, my oil pan was resting on my sway bar. So when I bought this car and I found out how bad the motor mounts were, I didn't want to drive the car. I left the car in the garage. I also had the brakes that I had to take care of, but I just left the car in the garage and I really didn't drive it much because I didn't want to keep stressing that oil pan, rubbing it up against the sway bar. But yeah, the motor mounts were really bad. And you could just tell by the way that the car drove that it needed new motor mounts. Honestly, most BMWs coming around 90,000 miles, 100,000 miles, even 75,000 miles, you just need to do the motor mounts. And especially if you already have the subframe down like that, it's like, dude, you might as well just knock it out. You're already there. In terms of the actual rod bearing job, like I said, this is my second time being a part of it. I didn't actually do the rod bearings in the S65. I did, however, do the rod bearings in my N54, so I have a good grasp as to how it's done. It's a little bit different with the V8 and the S65, but the main premise remains the same. However, this time around, it was really nice to focus more on how to drop the subframe and prep everything for the rod bearings, hoisting up the engine. And in the future, I plan on doing more of those jobs myself because I have a better understanding of it now. So that was really exciting. But overall, the job went really well, super smooth. We knocked it out in a day. I think it took us about, I want to say 8 hours or so to do everything from start to finish. Big shout out to Hendel and the guys over at CES for helping me out. Very thankful for them. And with the rod bearings and the motor mounts knocked off of the list, we are one step closer to making this car as enjoyable as I want it to be. There's definitely some other things that we need to do to make it a little bit more comfortable to drive, but at least I can drive it now. I haven't been able to actually drive my M3 for, I bought it, what, a month ago or so? I haven't even been able to drive it, you guys. It's really been just sitting in the garage. I've kind of cruised around a little bit, but haven't been able to drive it much. I haven't done an alignment on this car yet because I am putting on the KW soon, so there's really no point. But after we get suspension done, alignment, tires, wheels, this thing's it's gonna be in really good shape, and I'm looking forward to it. And we're done. We're done, dude. Nothing like some fresh bearings. Woo! Nothing like some fresh rod bearings, baby. Oh man, I can finally drive this car. What a great feeling. I'm just trying to film a rod bearing video, and this dude's got to come out. Just trying to film a rod bearing video, bro.
I'm just trying to do a launch control.
Yo, completely random.
Yeah, this is
my guy pulls up in the spot like, what's up, guys?
What's good?
Always good to see Jamesy boy. This M5, that thing is so fast, dude. It's crazy how fast that car is. It's one thing that the good old S65 is not. So anyways, we're gonna wrap this one up, you guys. Yeah, you got an S65, do your rod bearings, bro. These ones were pretty bad. Not the worst we've seen in general, but they were up there. But I think that honestly, for me, the most satisfaction came out of the motor mounts, because that's something that you can actually feel and physically see. The engine gained like an inch of clearance after we put the new motor mounts in, and overall the car just drives so much better. Anyways, big shout out to the guys over at ECS Tuning for sending everything out for the rod bearing service. Got BE bearings, ARP bolts that were spec'd by BE, went with the Liquid Moly 10W60 oil, then of course all of the necessary gaskets and seals. Turned out really good, very happy with it. Anyways guys, I appreciate you so much for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.